Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome. If you're a veteran, welcome back. Hans, can you enlighten us about scenario-based, what you mean by scenario-based training and also automatic attack, the why not?
It goes together.
Yeah.
It goes together. I make it.
Not two topics, it's the same, or I mean, it
Well, they're like dovetail
into each other.
with each other, right?
Yeah.
Usually people who train automatic attacks, they do scenario-based. That's a scenario.
Scenario. Yeah.
Scenario.
Not situation
Yeah.
with scenario.
Scenario-based training. I think it's a mistake. All law enforcement agencies say, and a lot of trainers train. I'm talking protection,
Yeah.
right? Not obedience.
That's smart.
Yeah, we're talking protection.
Yeah.
Scenario.
Yeah.
Based training.
Yeah.
So let's first define what's scenario based training and what's automatic attack training.
Yeah.
Keep me on track because I don't want to weird.
Well, people might.
I don't want to meander away.
But I think that's always the best. Whoops, that's the phone. That's always great to, and you talk about to have clarity for everyone what you mean, what your definition of the word means to you. So it's just
Scenario based training is that, as the name of it says, it's a type of training. You put the dog in different scenarios and you hope he's going to negotiate it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of law enforcement agencies, when they do that, if the dog does not negotiate, they give him another chance. And then if he doesn't do it, they'll can him. Right? Like, that's not training as far as I'm concerned. Right? So I give you an example. I'm not going to say it what police department it was, but it was police department. This is a true story. And I had some security company. And they went train with this law enforcement agency. And I said, well, I want to go because I'm training your dog. So I want, the law enforcement agency set it up. And I said, I want to go because, I'm responsible for training. So I want to see what the hell you're doing there. And here was they set up scenario, right?
Yeah.
And they set up the scenario where there was like a hallway in the school, and then on the end was door, which was open, and then there was a restroom, and there were the stalls. And the decoy was standing on the commode. And so the dog is supposed to go under the door and
I see.
and bite the decoy in there. So that was a scenario.
Yeah.
Right? And so you take dog who never, they would take a dog who never have done things like that, and they would send the dog into that scenario.
Yeah.
And just almost all dogs didn't do it. They didn't know what the hell, And some dogs who've done similar thing before, or they went under, and the problem. I understand the scenario because a lot of dogs, they have problem to go to tight spots. I think we may have done podcast on that.
I don't know if we did, but we talked about it. I know we have.
The dog they hate to go in a tight spots because they have an instinct where the animal lives in a den it's backed up in the corner basically in the den, and they will fight ferociously. And so the dog doesn't want to go into tight spot because he knows he's up for like a really strong fight.
Yeah.
And I've seen several law enforcement dogs, they just don't want to do it. They just stop and they don't want to do it. And there's ways to train that, okay? You teach the dog it's okay to go there and kick ass, right? But that's a tangent, right? So I'm going to not tell you how to do it.
We're staying there.
I'll tell you. Well, basically, it's simple. Irina Watney told me that. You put the dog into that tight spot, that tight space like a closet or a stall in a bathroom, restroom. So you put him there, and the decoy is coming at you into the tight spot.
Yeah.
The other way around. Flip it, right? And then you keep turning it around, right? right? So the dog will defend the tight spot. He will bite. And then you make it a little more, you turn it 90 degrees. You know, I'm showing it on camera so people will see it. It's easier to show with his two fingers than to describe it. So here is a dog, right? This is a dog, and this is the bad guy, right? And you keep turning it until the dog is entering where the bad guy is, and that way you teach the dog that it's okay to enter in a tight spot, okay? And see, that's a training, you know, where if you do scenario-based training and you send the dog into a scenario, he can negotiate it, and then they do it again and again, and they say, well, maybe next time, and send the dog home in failure. And that's what happened in that law enforcement agency. They would send, you know, my dog and one of the dogs I was training for the security company, and the dog would not want to go under the store, which is tough, you know, as I described the reason for that.
Yeah.
It's against the nature of the dog to go in tight spot.
Yeah.
Right. So the dog would go and kind of look under. He knew, you know, he's there, but he didn't want to go in.
Yeah.
And they do it, you know, and it's stupid once the dog fails to do same shit all over again and hope it's not gonna fail.
Yeah.
Einstein says,
Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. It ranks insanity or
it's insanity, right? And so I'm watching it, you know, and they did like 3-5 times. They sent the dog, and it was getting worse and worse. Finally, the dog didn't even want to go.
Yeah.
Right. You're basically ruining the dog. And so, you know, and they say, okay, well, maybe next time he'll do better. No, next time he will do even worse, right?
Yeah.
Because he just ruined everything which he could do. He just ruined it.
Yeah.
So I said, well, you know, because I was just an observer, because the law enforcement agencies, they were kind of afraid of me, you know, so they didn't really want me there. So they said, you know, you are not going to participate in the training. You can just observe, right? So I asked for permission to interfere with the training because it was my dogs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I said, you do with your dogs, whatever. And what I did, I opened the door of the stall, and the dog, you know, because the stall is same width as the door, so it wasn't like enclosed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you open the door, it's just like the dog went right in and bit.
Yeah.
And then I put the guy on that to stand on the commode while the door was open, and send him. And he bit again, and then I closed the door just a bit until he couldn't go around, so he went under and bit.
Yeah.
Took me 10 minutes, or not even that, you know, 7 minutes, and and the dog would go under the door, and I said, okay, now you can go home. You know, they're pissed, of course, you know, because it's always when you show something to people.
What did you say before this podcast? It's okay if you're upset.
Yeah, I'm trying to upset you because I care for you and I want to teach you something.
Yeah, it's not because I wanted to. Yeah, that's not my derogative. It's not Hans's derogative to accept.
People say, it seems like you are here talking to people because you want to upset them. And the answer is yes. I want to upset you because I care for you. I'm hoping that if you're upset, you're going to think about it and actually, you know, think about it. It would be a good start if you just think about it, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's how I know it. Yeah. So that's a scenario-based training.
Yeah.
Right? My way of training would be, I give the dog command, and this is where we're coming to the automatic attack type stuff, okay? I give the dog command to attack. And I do it, you know, in like we do in the park. And we do it over and over and over until it's boring, right?
Yeah.
And then the dog hears the command and he goes ballistic, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then when that dog is conditioned, when he hears the command alert and attack, he goes ballistic. Then we start moving the scenarios. I mean the command to different scenarios.
Yeah.
Right? So let's say That's why we're changing location and train at night, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do it under different situation, different time zone, with different decoys and all that.
Places.
Different places, you know.
Rainstorm.
Yeah. Rain or shine. And so what you do, you condition alert, attack, release, guard, right? Or lift off and guard, either way. And that's another topic. And you keep doing it until the dog, when he hears, no matter where he is, he will alert and attack, right? And do all that stuff. And so this is so the situation. I always say, you guys aren't ready to repel from helicopters. Remember, I said that many times, right?
We
You know, I've been in this workout once and law enforcement, and they had a helicopter and they were repelling with the dog, and then they sent the dog on a bad guy. And these green dogs, they were just terrified, repelling from 200 feet rope from helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, they see their eyes bulging, and then you send them on attack, right? And they said, well, good dog will do it. And that's true. 1 in 40 will go and do it. The rest of them, you got to train them, right?
Yeah.
But that's a scenario-based training.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, to make it more clear yet, is you are putting dog in different scenarios, doing the same thing, right? Where what I do same thing until it's conditioned. Then I start putting the dog in different scenarios, right? If the dog is conditioned,
Yeah.
you know, it's like Pavlov, right?
Yeah.
You blow the whistle and feed the dog. Blow the whistle, feed the dog. You do it 100 times or 300 times, and then you blow the whistle, and the dog will drool, salivate, right? Now, it doesn't matter if he just repelled from helicopter or if he is wherever. If he blows the whistle, he's going to start drooling, no matter where the hell he is, right? And that's a solid, you know, as people say, scientifically based training, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
So what you're just to even simplify it more, you're building the tree trunk, and then you're gonna start putting the
I've got
trunks. I mean, I'm sorry, the branches into the trunk.
Yeah, I said,
So
okay,
you have a solid trunk.
okay, I said, pozor, you turn on. Pozor, you turn on. And then I said, okay, now we're repelling from helicopter, and I say, pozor. Or we go to a abandoned building, and I say, pozor, and you bite there, right? And on, different scenarios, right? But the foundation is to train the dog, to condition the dog when he hears, because we're training the brain of the dog. We're not training his actions, you know. When you train scenario-based scenario, you're really training for the actions, right? For the action, where what I train, I train the brain. I condition the brain like Pavlov with his dogs, blowing whistle, feeding the dog, and he drool. I don't blow the whistle. I say P-O-Z-O-R, pozor, and the dog turns on, right? Because his adrenaline gets secreted
because it's been
in his brain and all that. It's just basically classical conditioning.
Yeah.
Okay. So now there are people who like the dog to attack automatically, and there's many reasons why I'm against that.
Yeah.
Right. I want the dog to attack. To dovetail what we just said, I want the dog to attack because he's conditioned to attack when he hears the command, right?
Yeah. It's a big one with Hans.
Okay, so and then I'll tell you why I want it that way.
There's a reason.
But from training purpose way, I want it that way because I just condition the dog when he hears the command to attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of the reasons why I want him to do it on command. Okay, very important one, because I just spent weeks to condition the dog to hear the command 300 times, pozor, and turn on, and then get bite, right? And I've done it many, many, many times. So now when I walk through dark alley and somebody's coming at me, I say pozor and dog turns on.
Yeah.
You know, that's because it's not scenario-based training, it's conditioning, command-based training.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't know, is it clear?
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
clear for me because I do with you like 2 years.
But, you know,
I know this hopefully.
I always have doubts that I'm saying it.
But it's got to be clear for the audience. And I think it is. I think, I mean, you guys can make the comment on it.
So I just, in my system, I just conditioned the dog that when he hears a command, he needs to turn on, regardless where he is at.
Regardless if there's even there's nobody there.
Not training it backwards, but I put him in different situations, and then I teach him, when you hear this command, you gotta bite, or because of scenario, you gotta bite.
Yeah.
I talked to this one cop, and and they did attack police dog training attack. So they pull the dog out and send the dog on a bad guy, right? I mean decoy.
Yeah.
And I said, "Where is your alert?"
No.
And he says, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Well, you got to tell the dog to attack, no?"
Yeah.
And because they do scenario-based training,
That is.
they said, "Well, if I pull the dog out of the car, he needs to attack." I said, "So every time you pull the dog out of the car, like when you go grocery shopping or just going, take a piss, as soon as you see somebody who attacks him, is that what you're training the dog?" Well, that pissed him off again. Was it? Right, I lost that contract.
Page, what, 57 in your book?
You know, you can't, you know, it's just, that's what I mean. I piss you off because I want you to think about what I'm saying, right? Just because it pissed, that's not my fault that it pissed you
Were
off.
you nice when he said that? You said that?
Yeah, I'm always nice.
Okay.
I'm always nice.
Okay.
I never attack.
No, I
do ad hominem attack. No, never. I don't do that.
I know you never. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You know, I always attack your training. I may say it in flowery way, like you're a dumbass to do it that way.
There's that. There are a few of those.
But it's all about the training.
With love.
Yeah, it's just a lot of love. Yeah, I love you.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's because I love you. It's like, you know, this guy, he left my class, and I said,
Well,
you know, why do you think I'm yelling at you? Because I care. If I wouldn't care, I would, you know, do whatever you want. Go to PetSmart. I don't care.
no,
Right?
no.
But I care that you succeed, and I want to make sure of it. And that's, you know, but anyway, that's a different story. So we have this automatic attack thing now, right? So because these people, they train scenario-based training, right? So they go, and if somebody jumps at you, they want the dog to automatically attack,
Yeah.
right?
And then you have your barbecue party.
Right. So that's a scenario, right?
Yeah.
Somebody jumps, dog attacks.
Yeah.
I said, what about if it is your long missing cousin? You know, suddenly he sees you on the street and he says, "Oh, there's Hans or Gabor."
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, hi, buddy." And dog rips his face off, right?
Good.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what they train.
That's the problem in the system.
Yeah, but you see how it's intertwined with the scenario-based and command-based training, okay? And because so now you're teaching the dog a scenario. If somebody jumps from the ditch or from around the corner,
Yeah.
the dog needs to attack automatically. That's the scenario training without hearing any command. Just like that cop that he says, if I pull the dog out of the car, that's a command basically for him to attack.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. He may pull the dog out of the car and park to take a piss,
Yeah.
right? And there is a mother going with 3 children and dog attacks her because that's a scenario. He's being trained.
Yeah.
Well, you can call the dog off. I don't want to call the dog. I don't want the dog to even start.
First place.
What about if I'm not able to call him off? Or what about if I trip and knock myself unconscious?
Yeah.
Right? It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Wrong system. I should say.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Yeah, it is stupid. But a lot of people train that way. Almost all law enforcement agents. Every time I go work with law enforcement agencies, they do scenario-based training.
Yeah.
Okay. Every time. Okay. Maybe there are some which don't, but every time. So why is it so bad for the dog to attack automatically? Okay, when somebody jumps at me, people, like I have this one guy from Great Britain. He's a good guy. I like him, and he says, "Well, I want the dog. If somebody jumps at me and I don't expect it, to attack automatically." That's what he says.
Yeah.
And how come you didn't expect it? Right? This guy's British Special Forces, whatever. How,
Yeah.
You don't
Please
expect.
try to build a scenario out there.
Yeah. Again, so I'm saying.
It's scenario based.
Yeah,
Again.
it's a scenario-based training, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, well, automatic attack, right? So let's say if I'm entering dark alley or building,
Yeah.
now if I'm sitting in front of Starbucks drinking coffee,
Yeah.
And somebody jumps at me, I always have plenty of time to tell the dog to attack,
Yeah.
right? Or when I'm entering dark alley, abandoned building, dark woods,
Yeah. Wherever you.
and I kind of worry this is kind of sketchy,
Yeah.
right? I alert the dog.
Yeah.
I said, "Pozor," and we go through the dark alley, and if somebody jumps, now we have automatic attack.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Makes sense.
so I was going to think there was several.
Are they? Would somebody throw, like a law enforcement person listening to this right now? Would they throw the argument of, well, okay, but you're talking to civilians. We don't do that. We're not. Try to have that.
There's no reason not to do that.
No, I'm just saying that would that be an argument for them to these dogs are not. These are not dogs for civilians. These are dogs that we go into situations all the time. Would be an argument for that?
So if you
Try to be, you know what I mean?
Okay, going back to pulling the dog out of the car, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pulling the dog out of the car to take a piss.
Yeah.
So I don't tell him any attack command.
Yeah.
All right. Or as they like to say, apprehension.
Yeah.
And if I'm taking the dog and want him to chase somebody down and stop him,
Yeah.
I'll give him a command.
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't cost anything,
Yeah.
or it's extra time.
Yeah.
So, and I had these
Long-winded, long drawn.
arguments with people, and they just seem not to understand that, and say, well, and there is a thing, okay? Now, this is applicable to me being present and conscious,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I'm in leadership position. Dogs doesn't protect person in leadership position, right? So I gotta relinquish my leadership position by giving the dog alert command or attack command or both,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So
Well, this is the argument. Somebody knocks you out.
But when I'm knocked unconscious, or when I'm sleeping, or I'm not home, the dog is there alone, then the dog is in charge.
Yeah.
And then he does it automatically, obviously.
Yeah. He's in leadership position.
Right? Because he's in leadership position.
Yeah.
Right? But there's that big thing which we have a podcast on, I think, that the dogs don't attack or protect. That was just the recent one.
That is
Dog doesn't protect you if you are in leadership position. You got to relinquish your leadership position.
Yep.
Right?
It's a shorter episode, but I believe it's one of the best episodes because
right. So if you're disabled, unconscious, or all that, you are not in leadership position. You're laying down with split head or unconscious, or you just got shot and you're reeling on the ground in pain or whatever, right?
If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version.
The dog is not stupid. He knows you are, and now he can attack automatically.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when I'm in charge, and I talk to some handlers from hospitals, children's hospitals,
Uh-huh.
and they say, no, I want the dog to attack automatically. So if a little child run towards me, you want the dog to attack automatically. Is that what you want? Or their parents were upset because the child just got really sick or hit by a car.
Yeah.
So they're screaming and all that. So you want the dog to attack them because they act up?
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is one of the hardest arguments I have on Facebook or with people on this topic, okay? And that's why I'm talking about it here now, right?
Yeah.
So first of all, you don't want to do situation-based training, not as a startup.
Yeah.
You can put dog in different situations. After he gets conditioned, when he hears the command.
Yeah.
So I said, pozor, drž. Bite. Pozor, drž, bite.
Yeah, we've done, I don't know how many hundreds of times now. I mean, I say it to my dog, you could be sleeping and he'll bark.
Yeah, Sarko, rest in peace. He was waiting in my truck, and I said, Sarko, pozor, and he was like 100 yards away from me. Truck started rocking and all, right? Okay, it doesn't matter where he is.
He's conditioned. Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's what's in that's your teaching system in the video series that you have, that you sell, the personal protection video series. That's one of the parts of
That's
training.
one of those things.
Yeah.
There's certain succession of the training. So first you got to condition the dog, and then you start putting him in scenarios. Yeah. You should not put dogs in scenario until he's conditioned.
Yeah. Pretty simple. Sounds simple. Anything else, Hans? Any wrap up on this? Or?
No, I just want to make sure people understand this. At least they don't have to agree, but they understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's all about clarity.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying and I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
then we can have a discussion.
Yep. It's a good way to say it. All right. Thank you, Hans. If you guys are interested in purchasing instructional videos, personal protection video series that Hans has, it's a 4-part video series. Make sure you visit alpinecaninereel.com. There's videos about
real, like
realistic, not like fishing reel. There's videos. There's a video on there feeding puppies raw, the out of drive obedience training, and all sorts of other videos.
protection, how to handle leash correctly, and
Leash handling, all that. So visit alpinecaninereel.com for that. Also, if you're looking for a puppy or a trained adult dog, Hans is your man. These dogs come in from the Czech Republic. They're awesome, legendary dogs. Make sure you watch the video on the top of the page of Hans's page about his story, and you'll understand even more about what these dogs are all about. So contact Hans. The information is down below. It's before the video started, all that stuff. And Hans would love to hear from you.
Okay.
So, yep, that's it. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Ahoy.